I used quite a few Google Pixel 8 Pros over the last few months. I recently bought this Mint version so I could put it through its paces with the latest updates to see how it currently stacks up. The moment I unboxed this Google Pixel 8 Pro, my eyes were met with an interesting shade of mint. It's like Google dipped this phone in a vat of minty goodness. It's not as green as the new Aloe Pixel 8a I recently reviewed, but it's a welcoming subtle dash of mint that I quite like, similar to a pint of mint chocolate ice cream for example. The physical build with its jewelry aesthetic is durable but prone to scratches. The Super Actual display on the 8 Pro is stunning. Honestly, I'm still impressed by it. Google really surprised many with this new display and it has held up very nicely. I absolutely love consuming content on it, even in direct sunlight. I can easily see the display and interact with various apps without any issues. For years, Pixel users have asked for better displays, and if there's one thing Google delivered well with the 8 Pro, it's definitely the display. I hope Google continues this trend in the future Pixels. Another thing I love about the 8 Pro is the smooth haptics, which provide excellent feedback while typing. They are easily some of the best haptics compared to other devices. The fingerprint scanner works reliably, and the face unlock feature is also quite consistent. The 8 Pro also features a temperature sensor, which I rarely use. While it works for certain applications, it's rather impractical, and I'll be surprised if Google continues to include it in future Pixel models. While the G3 chipset isn't entirely bad, it falls short to Qualcomm's Snapdragon chips. Snapdragon maintains cooler temperatures and consistently outperforms Tensor. This isn't a matter of personal preference, it's simply just the facts. Google moved back to Snapdragon for the Pixel Watch 2, and I'd love to see them go back to Snapdragon chipsets in the Pixel phones again. Pixel 8 Pro performs adequately for everyday tasks with minimal stutter or lag. However, you might experience occasional jittery scrolling in various apps. One downside is the device's tendency to run hotter than most due to its lack of efficient cooling. For routine activities like checking email, browsing, using social media, and taking photos, it works perfectly fine. But if you're a power user or a heavy gamer, you might want to consider the other options until Google significantly improves the Tensor chip or replaces it altogether, which as I noted earlier, I'm really hoping they do. I've consistently encountered modem and connectivity issues with the Pixel 8 Pro, 7 Pro, Pixel Fold, 6 Pro, essentially all Tensored power Pixel devices. Problems specifically with dropped calls and complete loss of connectivity at times, regardless of location or wireless carrier in the US. Many others I've spoken to have reported similar issues with these devices, but they do not experience connectivity problems with other Android phones or iPhones. When a phone can't phone, it really loses its purpose altogether. I've mentioned this in every one of my Pixel videos across the channel, and I've yet to see Google address this. Thus, I won't be holding my breath for the Pixel 9 series. Since unboxing my Pixel 8 Pro, the battery performance has been consistently underwhelming. I can barely get 5 hours of screen on time and often have to recharge by midday using the 8 Pro as my primary device. Whenever I mention this in other videos, people suggest turning off 5G, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and adjusting the display settings. If I need to disable every standard feature of a device that costs $1,000, then it's not worth my time. The battery performance isn't even close to the Samsung Galaxy S24, S23 series, or even the Nothing Phone 2a, which cost a third of the price. I hope that the Pixel 9 delivers significantly improved battery performance. As I mentioned, the current Tensor chip isn't optimized, and along with inconsistent modem issues, the device works harder than necessary, ultimately draining the battery throughout the day, even in standby. And before you also jump in the comments, I only use a handful of apps across all of my devices, with majority of those apps never running in the background. While the 8 Pro does have wireless charging, I would like to see faster charging speeds both wirelessly and especially wired in the future Pixel models. Pixels charge so slowly that it's quite embarrassing when compared to almost any other Android device on the market, regardless of price point. Pixel 8 Pro, like previous Pixels before it, delivers on the camera experience. With Google shifting its focus from the well-established Google Assistant to Gemini, I've started using Gemini to test it out. However, I missed many features of the Assistant, particularly the ability to control my Google Home devices. It's frustrating that Gemini can't do it yet, highlighting Google's ongoing issue with fragmented services. Don't get me wrong, Google has packed the 8 Pro with numerous somewhat useful AI features. One of my favorite Pixel-specific features, which I use daily, is Call Screen. However, most of the other Pixel-specific software features have also been adopted by Samsung, making Pixel users feel less significant. To make Pixel users feel even more insignificant, Google never even mentioned Pixel once at I/O this year. And while Google didn't mention Pixel at Google I/O, they certainly mentioned Android, but only to talk more about AI.
We've embarked on a multi-year journey to reimagine Android with AI at the core.
But honestly, Android was only mentioned briefly, with Google dropping the Android 15 details the following day. Android 15 beta is now available for select Pixel devices, so install with caution. However, there's really not a whole lot of new features you'll notice currently when coming from Android 14. For better or worse, Google is putting all their eggs in one basket with AI right now, leaving much to be desired when it comes to their Pixel lineup as well as Android as a whole. With the Pixel teams recently consolidating under Rick's leadership, I'm left wondering if the Pixel 9 series will be more of a mediocre upgrade and the real killer Pixel is still cooking. At this point, I've had several Pixel 8 Pros. While the updates bring welcomed improvements, I still have issues with Tensor's performance, overheating, and modem inconsistencies. This year's Google I/O, which was heavily focused on AI, emphasized that Google seems to prioritize search and their fragmented services around Gemini over hardware and Android. Many have called the Pixel 8 Pro the phone of the year. However, after trying multiple units to rule out defective ones, I personally cannot agree. It's not a bad phone, it's just certainly not the best. If you're undecided about upgrading, consider waiting a bit longer if you can. The Pixel 9 launch is just a few months away, and as usual with Pixel devices, leaks about the Pixel 10 are likely soon to emerge as well. If you need a new phone now and are considering the Pixel 8 Pro, you won't be disappointed snagging it on sale. However, just be aware that Google hardware has its unique quirks that you won't encounter with Samsung, Nothing, OnePlus, and other Android manufacturers. What you do get in comparison, though, is a uniquely designed device direct from Google, tailored for everyday tasks for everyday users. Pixel is the iPhone of Android after all. For many looking to dip their toes into the Android ecosystem, it's the wisest choice. For many Android users, you probably already know it's not going to outperform the many, but if all you need are consistently reliable solid cameras, features like call screening, software updates direct from Google, then you most likely are probably already using a Pixel 8 Pro. If so, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thank you for watching, take care, and stay safe.